Alright, in this section, section 6.5, we're going to be taking everything we've learned in the first part of chapter 6 and applying it to word problems. So the first thing to remember is that if the equations are in slope-intercept form, or you have x or y already solved for, then using the substitution method is usually your best option. If the equations are in standard form, and your variables match up nicely, then elimination is usually best. If neither of these cases it presents itself in an obvious way, you can pick and choose. Any problem or any type of systems equation problem could be solved either with substitution or with elimination. So you should probably try to get most comfortable with one or the other, but be mindful that a lot of times the problem starts set up so that one is going to be easier than the other. And you don't want to waste a lot of time doing it the hard way just because you're being stubborn and you don't want to learn both. So learn both and then be selective and pick and choose which one you're going to use. The other thing is, solving by graphing is great to kind of get an estimate of the answer, but it's not very good to get the exact final result. So you're encouraged to use Desmos to graph to check, or to look and kind of get an idea, but you really do want to solve it using substitution or elimination. So we're going to do 3 examples, all word problems. The first one is an example from the book. Here we go. One of the largest penguins is the emperor penguin, and one of the smallest is the Galapagos penguin. The total height of both combined is 169 centimeters. The emperor penguin is 22 centimeters more than twice the Galapagos penguin. Find the height of each. So the first thing we want to do is create our variables. So we're going to choose capital E to be the height of the emperor penguin, and I'm going to choose capital G to be the height of the Galapagos penguin. Okay, so using this information, I can write a system of 2 equations. The total height of both combined is 169. This sentence translates into the total height means E plus G, the height of one plus the height of the other, equals 169. Then the second sentence, the emperor penguin is. This keyword is equal. So E equals 22 centimeters more than, so 22 plus twice the Galapagos penguin, so 2G. Okay, E plus G is 169, and E equals 22 plus 2G. So this equation is set up really nicely for us to solve using substitution. Because this equation is already solved for E, I can plug it in right there. And if I do that, in place of this E, I'm going to plug in 22 plus 2G. So I'll get 22 plus 2G, that's my E, okay, plus G equals 169. Now I can just solve. So I have here 22 plus 3G, because it's good to combine all my G's together, right? Equals 169. Then I can subtract 22, subtract 22. I have 3G equals 169 minus 22 is going to be 7, 4, 1. And then I can divide by 3, and I get G equals 49, and my units of height for all these guys are centimeters. So the height of a Galapagos penguin must be 49 centimeters. And the emperor penguin, I can use this equation to get the height of the emperor penguin by plugging this value back in. So 22 plus 2 times 49, that's going to be 22 plus 98, and that's going to be 120 centimeters. So an emperor penguin stands 120 centimeters tall, and a Galapagos penguin stands 49 centimeters tall. And you can add those together, and of course they do equal 169, so we know the answer is correct. Second example. This is textbook problem number 12. At a fundraiser, Denzel sold 11 more subs than pizzas and earned a total of $233. Pizzas cost $5 and the subs cost $3. Write and solve a system of equations and explain. So this is a pretty common type of problem involving money and different sales of different objects. So let's let S equal the number of subs sold. Then let's let P equal the number of pizzas sold. And I know it's really annoying, you guys, especially when you're doing your homework, to write down what your variable is standing for, but it's actually quite important, and it makes translating the sentences into equations much, much easier. So I highly, highly recommend that you actually do this. So once I've done that, I can say my first sentence. Denzel sold 11 more subs than pizzas. So the number of subs equals 11 plus the number of pizzas. The number of subs was 11 more than the number of pizzas. That's my first equation. Then he earned a total of $233, okay? So the total money earned is $233. And so now, where does this money come from? Some of it comes from selling pizzas. The pizzas he sells for $5 each. So $5 times P, the number of pizzas, that'll tell me how much money I earned from pizzas. Like if I sold 10 pizzas, I would get $50. And then I have to add to that all the money that I earned from selling subs. But the subs cost only $3. So I can do 3 times the number of subs that I got. And the number of subs that I got was S. So 5P, that's the money from pizzas, plus 3S, that's the money from subs, equals a total of 233. Now I have my system of equations. Again, this one is set up nicely to solve by the substitution method. So let me change colors again so that it's obvious. I can substitute this equation in right here for S. And I'll get 5P plus 3. Now when you substitute in, you have to put parentheses because the 3 is multiplying by the total thing that I plug in here. And what I plug in here is S equals 11 plus P. So 11 plus P equals 233. And now you have a single variable equation which you can solve like normal. Let's distribute here. 5P plus 33. And then 3 distributes in as well to this P. So plus 3P equals 233. I can subtract 33 from both sides. And while I'm at it, let's combine the 5P and the 3P together to give me an 8P. 233 minus 33 works out really nicely for us here, so we get exactly 200. Divide by 8. Divide by 8. So let's see, this is going to give me 25. P equals 25. So what does that mean? Well, P stands for the number of pizzas sold. So this means I've sold 25 pizzas. And then how many subs have I sold? Again, I can use this equation right here. S equals 11 plus P, and P is 25. So S equals 25 plus 11 is 36. So this means I sold 36 sub sandwiches and 25 pizzas to raise a total of $233. Okay, last example. At a library book sale, hardcover books are $4 and paperback books are $2. Connie spends $26 for 8 books. How many hardcover books did she buy? Again, define your variables. So hardcover books cost $4. So let's let H equal the number of hard books, and let's let P equal the number of paperbacks. Okay, you could always choose X and Y, but a lot of times it's way more sensical to choose letters for your variables that match up with what they actually are. Okay, so we know that she got 8 books total. Okay, so that's going to tell us H plus P equals 8 books total. Number of hardcover books plus the number of paperbacks equals 8 total. We also know that she paid $4 per hardback, so $4 times the number of hardbacks plus $2 per paperback, so 2 times the number of paperbacks has to equal the total money. So the money she spent on hardbacks plus the money she spent on paperbacks equals the total, which was 26. So now I have here a system of 2 equations, and I can solve it using substitution or elimination. Since I've done the substitution method on the previous 2, let me do elimination for this one. The coefficient of this H is just a 1, so I have a 1 and a 4. Those don't match up. And here I have a 1 and a 2. Those don't match up. So to get them to match up, I'm going to try to match up my P. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation. And I could multiply it by 2 and then subtract, because they'd both be a 2 and a 2. But I prefer to add, so I'm going to multiply this by negative 2. That way I'll have a negative 2 here and a positive 2 here, and I can add them together. So I have to distribute this in, 1, 2, 3, and that will give me negative 2H, negative 2P equals negative 16. So I'm going from this one down to this one by distributing the negative 2 in. Once I've done that, I can combine these two equations. So 4h plus a negative 2h is going to give me 2h. 2p plus a negative 2p, those cancel out. And 26 plus a negative 16 gives me 10. Divide by 2, divide by 2. H equals 5. And so that means that I purchased 5 hardback books. And if the total is 8, then it's pretty easy to see that the number of paperbacks has to be 3. So 5 hardcover books plus 3 paperback books. And I know that some of you might even be able to look at this and just figure it out in your head right off the bat, because we're using nice whole numbers of 2 and 4 and 8 books. But you really want to practice these techniques and go through each step, even if you already know what the answer is going to be. Because when you arrive at a problem that's got nasty decimals or fractions that you can't do in your head, this method is sound. This method will always work. And so it's most important to learn the steps and the procedures to solve these kind of problems, and not worry about the fact that the numbers came out really easily. Because in real life, when you're solving these kind of problems, you have no idea if the numbers are going to come out nicely or if they won't. So you want to be adequately prepared. I hope these examples have been informative, and I hope they help you kind of see that word problems are not that scary, and if we approach them in a methodical way, we can get answers fairly quickly that make sense. Alright, I'll see you in class.